The auction hall buzzed with the excited chatter of alien species from across the galaxy. Towering Zephyrians with their crystalline wings stood next to hulking Gorvak traders, their forearms gesturing wildly as they examined the merchandise. The air shimmered with translator fields, converting dozens of languages into a comprehensible babel of commerce. At the center of the grand hall, hundreds of cages lined the polished floors. Each contained creatures destined for slavery, their eyes dulled by defeat or blazing with futile rage. The galactic flesh market was the largest in this sector, where sentient beings were bought and sold like livestock. In the furthest corner, barely visible behind towering specimens, sat a small cage containing what appeared to be a pathetic excuse for a dragon. The creature was no larger than a house cat, its scales a dull gray-brown that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Where mighty dragons should have wings, this one bore only small, withered appendages that twitched uselessly. Its eyes, once perhaps bright with intelligence, now stared at nothing with apparent emptiness. "Lot 847, announced the auctioneer, a serpentine Velesh whose voice carried through the hall via amplification crystals. Terran classification, dragon subspecies. Origin, Drakmor system. Age, approximately 50 standard years." A few aliens glanced toward the cage with mild curiosity before dismissing it entirely. Dragons were supposed to be magnificent, fearsome creatures capable of breathing fire and commanding respect across the galaxy. This specimen looked more like a sick pet than a legendary beast. "Bidding starts at 50 credits, the auctioneer continued, though his enthusiasm had clearly waned. Even he seemed embarrassed by the offering. 20 credits, called out a Gorvak trader, more out of pity than genuine interest. 15, countered another. Clearly hoping to acquire cheap labor for menial tasks, the dragon didn't even lift its head, as its fate was decided by strangers. It had endured 3 previous auctions, each time selling for less than the last, as its condition deteriorated. Its current owner, a Catherian flesh merchant, had grown tired of feeding something that generated no profit. Near the back of the hall, a young human woman watched the proceedings with growing disgust. Maya Chen had come to the station as part of a diplomatic mission, but she'd wandered into the market out of curiosity. Now she regretted that decision. The sight of intelligent beings in cages made her stomach turn. The bidding on the dragon had stalled at 15 credits. Maya found herself studying the creature more closely. Unlike the other beings in cages, this dragon wasn't trying to make itself appealing to buyers. It wasn't cowering in fear or snarling in defiance. It simply existed as if it had given up on existing entirely. "Going once at 15 credits, the auctioneer announced. Ready to move on to more profitable lots. Something about the dragon's absolute stillness bothered Maya. She'd read about dragons in human mythology, creatures of pride and power. Even if this one was sick or injured, surely some spark of that legendary spirit should remain. "Going twice. Maya surprised herself by raising her hand. 100 credits. The hall fell silent. Every alien eye turned toward the human woman who had just offered more than 6 times the current bid for what? Everyone considered worthless merchandise. The Gorvik trader who'd been bidding scratched his massive head with one of his 4 hands. "Human, you realize that's defective goods?" Thing can barely hold its head up. "I can see that," Maya replied calmly, though her heart was racing. She had no idea what she planned to do with a dragon, defective or otherwise. Something had just compelled her to act. The auctioneer, delighted by the unexpected windfall, quickly brought his gavel down. "Sold to the human for 100 credits. As Maya made her way through the crowd toward the payment station, she could hear aliens muttering in dozens of languages. Some questioned her sanity, others wondered if humans had some special use for damaged dragons. A few speculated that she was simply young and foolish with her credits. The transaction completed surprisingly quickly. The Catherian merchant seemed eager to finalize the sale before the human changed her mind. Within minutes, Maya found herself the legal owner of 1 dragon. Species unknown, condition questionable, a mechanical loader brought the cage to the pickup area. Up close, Maya could see the dragon more clearly. Its scales, while dull, showed intricate patterns that suggested they had once been beautiful. The creature's breathing was shallow but steady. Most surprisingly, when Maya knelt beside the cage, the dragon's eyes focused on her face with unmistakable intelligence. "Hello there," Maya said softly, ignoring the stares of other buyers collecting their purchases. "I'm Maya. I guess I'm your new donor." The word tasted wrong in her mouth. The dragon tilted its head slightly, the first voluntary movement Maya had witnessed. Its eyes, she realized, weren't empty at all. They held depths of pain and exhaustion, but also something else. Hope? Curiosity? It was difficult to tell da Maya had arranged temporary quarters in the station's guest section while the diplomatic mission conducted their business. The dragon's cage barely fit through the narrow corridors, but she managed to maneuver it into her small living space. Once the door was sealed, Maya immediately began working on the cage's lock. The mechanism was simple but required a biometric scan from the registered owner. As the lock disengaged, Maya felt a moment of uncertainty. What if the dragon was dangerous despite its apparent weakness? She needn't have worried. When she opened the cage door, the dragon remained exactly where it was, watching her with those intelligent eyes. "You can come out if you want," Maya said, settling onto the floor a few feet away. "You're safe now." The dragon's response was so subtle Maya almost missed it. Its breathing deepened slightly, and some of the tension left its small frame. It didn't leave the cage, but it shifted position to face her more directly. Maya spent the next hour talking quietly, telling the dragon about Earth, about her job with the diplomatic corps, about her confusion over why she'd bought it. The dragon listened without moving, but Maya had the strangest sensation that it understood every word. When Maya finally went to sleep that night, the dragon had still not left its cage. But when she woke the next morning, she found it had moved to the entrance. As if it wanted to come out but wasn't quite ready to take that step, Maya's diplomatic duties kept her busy over the following days. But she spent every free moment with the dragon. She offered food, which it ate sparingly. She provided water, which it drank gratefully. Most importantly, she talked to it constantly, treating it like the intelligent being she was increasingly certain it was on the third day. While Maya was describing her hometown on Earth, the dragon finally spoke. "Why?" The word was barely a whisper, spoken in perfect standard galactic. Maya's breath caught. The dragon could talk. Not only that, but its voice carried an accent she couldn't place, cultured and precise despite its weakness. "Why what?" she asked gently. "Why did you buy me?" The dragon's voice was stronger now, though still quiet. "I am nothing, broken, worthless." Maya felt her heart break a little. Because no one should be left behind. Because everyone deserves kindness. Because ... She paused, searching for the right words. "Because when I looked at you, I saw someone who needed help." The dragon was silent for a long moment. Then slowly it took its first step out of the cage. "My name," it said, "is Zarathes. I was once more than this." Maya smiled, tears threatening at the corners of her eyes. "It's nice to meet you, Zarathes. And I think you still are more than this? We just need to figure out what happened to you." As the dragon took another tentative step into the room, Maya noticed something remarkable. The dull gray-brown of its scales seemed to shimmer slightly in the light, revealing hints of deep purple and gold beneath the surface. Whatever had reduced this magnificent creature to its current state, Maya was determined to find out. She had no idea that her simple act of compassion was about to set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of both dragons and humans. But as Zarathes took its first steps toward freedom, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath in anticipation of what was to come. The diplomatic mission would conclude in 2 weeks. Maya had that long to figure out what to do with a dragon that was clearly far more than it appeared. As she watched Zarathes explore its new environment with growing confidence, she suspected 2 weeks might not be nearly enough time. Outside the station, the vast expanse of space continued its eternal dance, indifferent to the small drama playing out in a human diplomat's quarters. But sometimes the smallest actions create the largest ripples. And Maya Chun's impulsive purchase was about to become the catalyst for changes that would echo across the stars. The dragon that no one wanted was finally home. Now it was time to discover what that really meant. Maya's research into dragon physiology proved frustrating. The galactic database contained hundreds of entries about various dragon species, but none matched Zarathi's exactly. Most dragons were massive creatures, some growing to the size of small starships. They were known for their elemental breath weapons, their near invulnerability, and their fierce independence. What Maya had was clearly different. Zarathi's had grown more talkative over the past week, though she still tired easily. During their conversations, Maya learned that Zarathi's wasn't originally from the Drakmor system as the auction records indicated. She had been captured there, but her origins lay elsewhere entirely. "I was born in the void between," Zarathi's explained one evening, her voice still soft but gaining strength daily. "A place where space itself breathes. My kind are not like the fire-breathers or ice-wings that most species know." Maya frowned, consulting her tablet. "The void between isn't on any star charts I can access." "It wouldn't be," Zarathi's replied, a hint of sadness in her tone. "We made sure of that long ago. My people learned to hide when the galaxy grew hungry for dragon slaves." The statement sent chills down Maya's spine. She was beginning to understand that Zarathi's wasn't just any dragon. She was something much rarer. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Kellux, a Vorthanian xenobiologist whom Maya had convinced to examine Zarathi's. The insectoid alien entered the quarters with typical Vorthanian efficiency, his 6 arms already reaching for various scanning devices. "Interesting specimen," Dr. Kellux chittered, his compound eyes reflecting rainbow patterns as they focused on Zarathi's. "May I begin the examination?" Zarathi's shrank back slightly, and Maya immediately moved closer to her. The dragon had developed a deep trust in Maya, but other aliens still made her nervous. "It's okay," Maya said gently. "Dr. Kellux just wants to help us understand what's wrong." The examination revealed shocking results. Dr. Kellux's scanners detected massive neural dampening in Zarathi's brain, as if something was actively suppressing her natural abilities. More disturbing were the microscopic devices embedded throughout her nervous system. "These are Catherian neural inhibitors," Dr. Kellux explained, his voice grave. "Highly illegal in most sectors. They're designed to suppress magical or psionic abilities in captured beings." Maya felt sick. "How long has she had them?" "Based on the tissue integration, approximately 15 standard years. But here's what's truly remarkable." Dr. Kellux manipulated his scanner display, showing a 3-dimensional image of Zarathi's brain. "The inhibitors are failing. Her natural biology is overcoming them." Zarathi's listened to this exchange with growing awareness. "I have been feeling different lately. Dreams of flying, though I have never flown. Dreams of colors I have no names for." "That's your true nature trying to reassert itself," Dr. Kellux explained. "But the process is dangerous. As the inhibitors fail, they're releasing toxins into your system. Without intervention, you'll die within a month." Maya's blood ran cold. "What kind of intervention?" "Surgery to remove the devices. But it's incredibly risky. Catherian neural inhibitors are designed to be tamper-proof. One wrong move, and I could damage her brain permanently." Maya looked at Zarathi's, who met her gaze steadily. The dragon had grown stronger over the past week, but she was still a shadow of what she should be. The thought of losing her now, just as they were beginning to understand each other, was unbearable. "What are the chances of success?" Maya asked. Dr. Kellux's antennae twitched nervously. "For a normal dragon, perhaps 30%. But your Zarathi's is not normal. My scans suggest she's from an extinct species, one with neural pathways far more complex than any dragon currently known. The surgery would be like performing brain surgery while blindfolded. And if we do nothing? Certain death within 30 days. Maya turned to Zarathi's. "It's your choice. I won't make this decision for you." Zarathi's was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice carried a dignity that hadn't been there before. I have been dead for 15 years, Maya-chan. If there is a chance to truly live again, even a small chance, I must take it. Dr. Kellex scheduled the surgery for the following day. Maya spent that night sitting beside Zarathes, both of them aware it might be their last conversation. Tell me about your home, Maya said. The void between. Zarathes' eyes grew distant. Imagine space that glows with its own inner light. Stars that sing instead of burn. We called ourselves the Dreaming Dragons because we could touch the thoughts of distant worlds. We were guardians of knowledge, keepers of secrets that predated most galactic civilizations. What happened to your people? The same thing that always happens when the galaxy discovers something valuable. War. My kind were captured and enslaved for our abilities. Those who resisted were killed. I was among the last to be taken. Zarathes paused, pain flickering across her features. I watched my clutch siblings die in Catherian laboratories. I wished for death many times. Maya felt tears on her cheeks. I'm so sorry. Do not grieve for what was, Maya-shun. You have given me something I thought lost forever. Hope. The surgery took place in the station's medical bay. Maya paced the waiting area for 6 hours while Dr. Kellex and his surgical team worked. Several times, emergency alarms sounded, and Maya's heart nearly stopped each time. When Dr. Kellex finally emerged, his usually pristine carapace was dulled with exhaustion. She's alive, he said without preamble. We removed 87 individual inhibitor devices. But Maya... He paused, his compound eyes showing uncertainty. I've never seen anything like what happened in there. What do you mean? As we removed each device, her neural activity increased exponentially. By the time we finished, her brain was showing patterns I don't understand. She's not just recovering, Maya, she's evolving. Maya was allowed to see Zarathes 3 hours later. The dragon lay unconscious in a medical pod, various monitors tracking her vital signs. But even unconscious, something had clearly changed. Her scales, previously dull gray-brown, now showed definite hints of deep purple shot through with veins of gold. More remarkable were the wings. What had been withered appendages now showed signs of proper structure underneath the skin. They were still small, but they no longer looked vestigial. Dr. Kellex joined Maya beside the pod. Her cellular regeneration rate is unprecedented. At this rate, she'd be fully conscious within hours rather than days. But Maya, I need to warn you about something. What? I don't think we've saved a dying dragon. I think we've awakened something that was never meant to be contained. As if responding to his words, Zarathes' eyes fluttered open. But these weren't the same eyes that had watched Maya with quiet intelligence. These eyes blazed with an inner fire that seemed to reflect the depths of space itself. Maya, Zarathes whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated through the medical bay. I remember everything. The monitors around the pod began registering readings that made no sense. Energy patterns that the machines couldn't categorize, brain activity that exceeded their measurement capabilities. What do you remember? Maya asked, though part of her was afraid of the answer. Zarathes slowly sat up, her movements more graceful than they had been since Maya first met her. I remember who I was before they broke me. I remember the songs of the void. I remember the power that flows between the stars. She looked directly at Maya, and her expression was filled with wonder. But most importantly, I remember that you chose to save someone you thought was worthless. That choice has consequences, Maya-chan, for both of us. Dr. Kellex's scanners were now registering energy readings that shouldn't be possible from any biological creature. Across the station, sensitive equipment began picking up, unusual quantum fluctuations emanating from the medical bay. Maya reached out and gently touched Zarathes' hand. The moment their skin made contact, images flashed through Maya's mind. Vast spaces between galaxies where impossible creatures swam through cosmic currents. Stars that pulsed with consciousness. Worlds where thought became reality. You're not just a dragon, Maya realized. You're something else entirely. Zarathes smiled, and for a moment her form seemed to shimmer as if she existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. I am what my people call a void weaver. We were the shepherds of reality itself, ensuring that the universe remained stable and sane. When my kind were hunted to extinction, reality itself became more fragile. The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. You're saying your people were essential to keeping the universe functioning properly? Not essential, but helpful. And now, Zarathy stood, her movements causing ripples in space that only Maya seemed able to see. Now I am the last. The question becomes, what does one do with the power to reshape reality when one has experienced the worst that reality has to offer? Dr. Kellick's equipment finally overloaded, shudders and sparks flying as systems struggled to process readings beyond their design parameters. Emergency lights bathed the medical bay in red warning strobes, but Maya wasn't afraid. Looking at Zarathi's, she saw not a cosmic threat, but her friend. Someone who had been broken by cruelty and was now being reborn through kindness. You use that power to make things better, Maya said simply. You use it to make sure what happened to Yo. News of the unusual energy readings from the medical bay spread through the station faster than Maya had anticipated. Within hours, representatives from 3 major galactic powers had requested meetings. The Catherian Syndicate, responsible for Zarathi's 15 years of torture, was notably absent from the official requests, but Maya had spotted their agents lurking in the station's commercial sectors. Ambassador Rodriguez, Maya's superior in the human diplomatic mission, arrived at the medical bay with barely concealed panic in his eyes. Maya, what have you done? The entire station is buzzing with rumors about some kind of reality-altering weapon in our possession. Maya stood protectively near Zarathi's, who had been observing the growing commotion with calm interest. The dragon's transformation continued steadily. Her scales now gleamed with deep purple and gold, and her wings had grown large enough that she had to fold them carefully to move around the medical bay. She's not a weapon, Maya said firmly. She's a person who was tortured for 15 years and is finally recovering. A person who's registering energy readings that have half the station's scientists convinced we're about to experience a reality breach, Ambassador Rodriguez replied. Maya, I need you to understand the political implications here. If even half the rumors about her abilities are true, then perhaps it's time the galaxy learned to treat sentient beings with respect instead of enslaving them. Zarathi's interjected, her voice carrying new harmonics that made the air itself seem to vibrate. Ambassador Rodriguez stared at the dragon, clearly struggling to process what he was seeing. You're the one causing the readings? I am simply existing as I was meant to, Zarathi's replied. The universe is adjusting to my presence as it should. It has been unbalanced for some time. Dr. Kellick approached with his latest batch of readings, his usual scientific excitement tempered by obvious concern. Ambassador, with respect, this is beyond political considerations. My instruments are detecting fluctuations in the fundamental constants of reality within a 12-kilometer radius of this station. Gravity is varying by microscopic amounts. Time is flowing at different rates in different sections. Nothing dangerous yet, but if these trends continue, the universe will remember how it's supposed to work, Zarathi's finished calmly. My people spent millennia maintaining the cosmic balance. In our absence, reality has become sloppy, inconsistent. I am simply helping it remember its proper shape. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Zarathi's, what exactly are you doing? Nothing dramatic, the dragon assured her. Think of it as cosmic housekeeping. There are cracks that need mending, knots that need untying. The galaxy has grown accustomed to a universe that functions poorly. I am helping it function correctly again. Ambassador Rodriguez activated his communicator. I need to contact Earth immediately. This is beyond my authority level. Before he could complete the connection, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Dr. Kellick checked his readings and cursed it in 3 different languages. Catherian battle fleet just dropped out of hyperspace. 12 ships, all military grade. Maya's blood turned to ice. The Cytherians had come for Zarathis. They want me back, Zarathis said, her voice showing no fear. They believe they can control me now that I'm recovering my abilities. They are wrong. The station's communication system crackled to life. This is Fleet Commander Vextar of the Cytherian Syndicate. You will immediately surrender the stolen property designated as Asset Dragon 847. Compliance is not optional. Ambassador Rodriguez looked at Maya desperately. We can't fight a Cytherian fleet. The station has minimal defenses. Maya turned to Zarathis. Can you get us out of here? Yes, Zarathis replied. But Maya, if I use my full abilities now, there will be no hiding what I am. Every power in the galaxy will know that the Void Weavers have returned. Are you prepared for that? Maya thought about the auction hall, about all the cages filled with sentient beings sold like property. She thought about 15 years of neural inhibitors slowly killing someone whose only crime was being born different. She thought about the Cytherian fleet outside, ready to recapture and torture Zarathis again. Do it. Zarathis smiled. And reality shimmered around them. The transformation was beautiful and terrifying. Space itself seemed to bend towards Zarathis as she spread her wings, which had grown magnificent and now sparkled with patterns that reflected the cosmic void. Her scales became translucent, showing the starlight that somehow flowed through her body. Attention. Cytherian fleet, Zarathis spoke, but her voice now carried across vacuum without need for communication systems. Every being on every ship could hear her words. I am Zarathis, daughter of the Void Between, last of the Dreaming Dragons. You have held me prisoner for 15 years. You will not do so again. The response was immediate and predictable. The Cytherian fleet opened fire with everything they had. Plasma bolts, quantum torpedoes, and exotic energy weapons all converged on the station. None of them arrived. Zarathis had simply adjusted reality. The weapons fired normally, but space itself curved around their target, redirecting the attacks harmlessly into the void. From the perspective of the Cytherians, their weapons had simply vanished. How? Fleet Commander Vextar's transmission was filled with disbelief. I am a Void Weaver, Zarathis replied gently. Reality obeys my suggestions, and I suggest that you leave now. But the Cytherians had spent too many years profiting from enslaved dragons to give up easily. The fleet began charging their most powerful weapons, preparing for a bombardment that would destroy the entire station if necessary. Maya watched Zarathis' expression grow sad. They will not learn. Even now, they think only of possession and control. What will you do? What I must. Zarathis reached out with her abilities, touching the minds of every Cytherian in the fleet. She didn't hurt them or control them. Instead, she showed them what she had experienced. 15 years of imprisonment, of neural inhibitors burning through her brain, of watching her people die in laboratories. She showed them the loneliness of being the last of her kind, the pain of having her very nature suppressed, but she also showed them something else. She showed them Maya's kindness. The moment a human stranger had looked at a broken dragon and chosen compassion over profit. She showed them what it felt like to experience hope. After decades of despair, the effect on the Cytherian fleet was immediate and profound. Across 12 ships, hardened soldiers and commanders broke down weeping as they experienced true empathy for the first time in their lives. They felt the weight of their actions, not just against Zarathis, but against countless other beings they had enslaved and tortured. I don't ask for your deaths, Zarathis told them as they struggled with their new understanding. I ask for your change. You have the power to choose differently. The question is whether you will. One by one, the Cytherian ships began powering down their weapons. Fleet Commander Vextar's voice came across the communication system, choked with emotions his species had suppressed for generations. We understand. What we did to you, to so many others? We understand. How do we make amends? By freeing those you still hold, Zarathis replied. By ensuring this never happens again. By becoming the people you could be instead of the people you have been. Maya watched in amazement as the most feared slave-trading civilization in the galaxy committed to dismantling their own power structure. The Catherians began broadcasting new edicts across their territory, ordering the immediate release of all sentient beings held in bondage. But Maya knew this was just the beginning. Word of what had happened would spread throughout the galaxy within days. Every power would want to either control or destroy Zarathes. What happens now? Maya asked. Zarathes turned to her, and Maya was struck again by the depth of intelligence and compassion in those cosmic eyes. Now we begin the real work. My people were guardians, Maya. We protected the innocent and maintained balance. I cannot restore my species, but I can honor their memory. How? By ensuring that no sentient being ever suffers as I did. By teaching the galaxy that kindness is stronger than cruelty. By showing them that even the most broken among us can be healed with patience and love. Ambassador Rodriguez, who had watched the entire exchange in stunned silence, finally found his voice. The human government will want to establish formal relations with you, as will everyone else. Zarathes nodded. And I will speak with them all. But Maya-Chun will be my primary representative to your species. She understood something that your diplomats and politicians will struggle with. What's that? That true power comes not from what you can take, but from what you choose to give. Maya felt overwhelmed by the trust Zarathes was placing in her. I'm just a junior diplomat. I don't have experience with cosmic-level negotiations. You have something more valuable, Zarathes replied. You have the wisdom to see souls where others see only profit margins. That is the foundation upon which a better galaxy will be built. As the Catherian fleet began its withdrawal, broadcasting messages of apology and reform across their communication networks, Maya realized that her impulsive purchase at a flesh market had somehow led to the most significant diplomatic event in galactic history. The universe itself seemed different now, more stable somehow,